Marketing trends for 2024. Marketing trends for 2024. What's the latest? This is going to be a great room today because we're going to have an amazing time. I don't know how long we're going to go, but we're going to go for a good time that's going to make you enjoy what you want to do for your business, what you want to do for your marketing plans, especially if you know what you're doing. And if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to know what you're going to do when I show you what's happening in the world right now. There's so many things that you got to do, but you don't have to do it by yourself. Hey, Bianca. Good morning.
Well, good morning, Favor. How are you?
I'm great. It's so good to finally tag team with you on Clubhouse. I feel like this has been, those long awaited collaborations you've been wanting to see forever, and then they happen, and you're like, whoa, yeah, this is one of them.
Oh my goodness, it is such an honor, and I'm so happy that we get to collab this morning. I think we've definitely been waiting on this for a while, so I'll give some background to that as people come in and as people share the room.
Exactly. Thank you all for being here. This is the Marketing Club where we have great conversations. This is one place I've noticed that I meet new people every day on this in this house. You know, when you go to your house, you know who you're going to see in the house, but this is a house that always grows, always grows, always grows. Right now, this house, we are at 346.6 thousand members. You know what I'm saying? So y'all are appreciated. You know, this club, this house doesn't get as many rooms as it should because I'm one of the leaders. I'm not the founder. Just to give y'all context, I'm not the founder of this house, but I'm one of the leaders of this house. And I've been doing this for a good number of years because I've been on Clubhouse since 2020, November 24th. And I've been consistently connecting with people on the app, off the app, and I joined Clubhouse specifically because I wanted to use it as an extension of my podcast called We Don't Play. And I'll put the link above so that y'all can tap in if you want to learn about the podcast. And the reason why you are here is because you love audio. So sometimes we kind of force people to watch video, yet they're auditory learners, or they just love being on. That's the reason why we come here every day. So I'm excited you're here. I'm excited that you're here to stay. And if you do leave the room, and I'm getting a red bar, so please let me know if you can hear me so I don't mess out on anything. But if you are in the room and you end up leaving, thank you, B. If you're in the room and you leave, please make sure before you leave, click on the three dots above to the top of the right of the screen before you leave quietly and tap on save replay so that you can come back and save the replay in case you miss out on anything. We're going to talk about some great stuff today. So I'm gonna pass it to you, Bianca. Let people know who you are and what's going on in your town.
Well, good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for having me in the room. Fave, we finally are collaborating, so I'm just super excited, over the moon about being up here this morning. My name is Bianca Simmons, and I am an expert in all things marketing. I am the CEO and the lead strategist at Favor Marketing Agency based out of Phoenix, Arizona. And I would say, one of those has had experience in many parts of marketing. And so everything from e-commerce to email marketing to social media and you name it. And so been super excited about having my influence be all over the globe. And so I literally can't wait to get into this TikTok trend conversation today, because I've been deep diving, I feel like, for the last week, and really the last month. I've become obsessed. So happy to be in the room. And yeah, thank you, Favor.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'm excited about this topic. You know, we're going to dive into TikTok, and I'm sure we're going to probably dive into other parts of TikTok and social media. But, TikTok is popping right now. And I think to kick things off, let's start off with the elephant in the room. Universal Music Group. I don't know if y'all know this, and I'm gonna put this some that you guys can follow through today, because this is something that I want. We're just here to we're just here to have a conversation, We're not here to say what's right, what's wrong. We just want y'all to do your research, but we want to help you start the research. So, according to Billboard.com, Universal Music's war on TikTok behind the battle plan, it's, I don't know if you've heard this, but Universal Music Group, UMG, required TikTok to take down music it controls by using some music executives called the nuclear option, quote unquote, right? This happened on January 30th, the day before UMG's latest deal with TikTok lapsed. The company announced in an open letter that we must call timeout on TikTok and began removing its recorded music from the platform. And they had a 30-day grace period. UMG said that it also required TikTok to take down any song in which UMPG, that's Universal Music Publishing Group, controls the rights. That means songs by Harry Styles, SZA, Bad Bunny, Metro Booming, you name it. Everybody knows these artists, and especially when you think about big records, you have to think about what that means for you. And just for those who have not heard a chance to know who I am, I have a background in entertainment business. I have a master's of science in entertainment business and a master's of business and business administration, an MBA. And I have a music background. I'm a self-taught drummer. I make music. I'm into podcasting. I'm very big on royalties when it comes to intellectual property, masters. So I know when it comes to things like metadata and owning your own material. So this is a big hit for TikTok. And a lot of people are wondering why TikTok would do this or why UMG would do this, because that the reason why TikTok became TikTok is because of music, right? Because artists were found on TikTok. So B, what you thinking about this? And y'all check the chat for the link if you want to dive a little deeper. What are you thinking about this, Bianca?
So I have to say, when last week when I was doing my deep dive on TikTok and I woke up and I realized that the audio was mute on a lot of my videos, and so initially I freaked out, like many of the creators who were on the platform, and of course my number one concern was, yes, absolutely, because music is has been the driving force for continuing the trends in all of our viral videos that we love to see every day on TikTok. I initially was very scared because I'm like, okay, so what is going to happen? And so one of the neatest things happened on TikTok, and it was as if the creators came and band together, and the creators started making light of the issue. So of course, I got to see the creators literally use like they were almost like lip singing without the music even being there, and everyone mourning, kind of having like a funeral or mourning the loss of the music. And so UMG did something that I think was super monumental, and they allowed TikTok obviously to have to kind of suffer because they're like, hey, you better come up with a better deal for us, and if you can't come up with a better deal, then your platform's gonna be without us. And so they made a name for themselves, and the negotiations, as far as I know, are still going on. And of course, it would be in TikTok's best interest to, of course, reach an agreement. And so I think it's a little bit of a disaster. And so TikTok is attempting to put their foot down, and so is UMG. And so, of course, it's going to be an ongoing battle, I believe, for a while. It's very similar to what has been occurring with Spotify music as well, with the royalties and things like that. And so, of course, we are at a standstill. And so but we're not completely stuck. The good news is that creators are actually still allowed to find the music, right? But it's on there without being given credit to the artists, and so users are finding like other recorded sounds that are very much like it. It's like the Taylor Swift sounds, but like super sped up. They're either super fast or they're super slow. And if TikTok hasn't picked up on it yet, then obviously they're getting away with using the sound. And then, of course, using something that we all have, our own voices. And so it's going to be interesting just seeing the turn and how things are going to work for the upcoming weeks. So,
I'm nervous though. I can't lie, because it's like when you think about like a chopped and screwed version of a song, it's like a shout out to T Pain. Like when you think about the whole idea of songs, music, sounds, it's different because I know there was an app called Triller. I don't know if you remember this app. I think it's still available, where you could upload your own music and then create your own viral video from there. And I used to love Triller, But I just didn't follow through with it because I was like, everybody's not really on Triller like that. But that was a really unique way of bringing your own sound and getting your own viral uniqueness instead of depending on a trending sound to blow or to go viral. So I think it's an opportunity for us to think outside the box. But I also feel like I don't know what's going to happen to TikTok shares or TikTok activity because people are so big on TikTok. And then the whole idea spiel of TikTok not being on in the US, or is TikTok going to leave the US, or is it going to be staying here? So TikTok has always gone through something because I remember when I joined TikTok in 2016, that's when it was called Musically. Like if you check my TikTok, go all the way down to my first video, Bianca, you can go and check it. If you go all the way to my very first video, you'll see the timestamp, the date stamp. It says 2016. So I've been on the app since then, seeing everything that's going on from the back end, and looking at it now. It's like, where are we gonna go next? And this is the beginning of the year. I just feel like TikTok might end up being a unique brand on its own. And I think you're the one that was telling me about them going horizontal. Would you want to talk about that a little bit?
Yes, absolutely. I would love to talk about that because I think so. I believe that this is a turning point for TikTok because they are now incentivizing creators for making videos horizontally. So it kind of looks like it reminds you of like a blog and a very cinematic version of video. So what they're wanting us to do is to kind of lean into that Netflix style video formatting on the site. And so what I think is really, really neat is that as long as you're making, because I want to say, I'm going to go back here in my notes because I have, so there is a trend basically that they're saying that TikTok is incentivizing users to post horizontal videos in about 1 or more minutes in length. So longer horizontal videos that qualify will receive boosted reviews in 72 hours of posting. So as long as you're over like a minute and you have your video in what looks like a very blogger style cinematic look, they're going to boost your content. They're basically have been encouraging this for at least the last 2 months or so. And so they're wanting users to make videos that are up to like 25 minutes long for paying subscribers and things like that. And so what it's going to help you do is monetize. And I think a lot of people have been looking to do that anyway. Um, and so it's going to be an interesting turn. It's going to have us really getting deep, digging deeper down into our creative selves and like learning to be able to share like more of your storytelling, more of just your voice and just more of being who you are. And so the neat thing that I love about TikTok, it's crazy. I took this training earlier in the year and they said to us that the TikTok community is going to ignite more of a transformative mindset, which breeds, because they really want us to breed like curiosity and imagination and vulnerability and, of course, courage. And so we have to learn to take strategic risks and we have to learn to be more vulnerable. And so now we have to lean into our most strategic strategy in terms of showing off some of our superpowers and being really creative on the app. And so I'm looking forward to this shift. All change isn't bad, of course, on social media. It seems like all the social media giants are starting to keep us on our toes. So and it's funny, Favor, that the other day I was listening to some of our giants, some of the leading tech giants, and they were saying like, they want us to, lean into the changes as opposed to fighting them, and how they're going to reward us because we lean into it. So don't be afraid of the change, guys. We're just going to ride the wave and continue to be as creative as possible.
I like creativity. I'm a creative myself, so I just feel like it's gonna be one of those exciting times for us to think out the box. Because I make music, I actually produce music, so it's like people who can produce music, who can make jingles, who can actually make sounds. It's an opportunity for us to really like explore. But it's not going to be easy too because not everyone's going to hear it. But the day they do, if it matches the content, then it's going to be good. So I don't think it's a loss. I think it's still going to be a win, but at the end of the day, you have to think about, where that's going to come from. And UMG is not the only publishing company or group, there are others. So you never know. Another company might take it up, when it comes to royalties like ASCAP, BMI, these are all just royalty rights and everything for entertainment business. You have to think about those things. And like Nielsen, let's when you go to let's say you go to a restaurant, you hear music in the background, or that music in the background, it has a code, right? Those codes are, being printed because you have to also calculate, oh, where's my song being played? Because you can't be everywhere at the same time. But I feel like the way it's going for TikTok is a good way to keep us creative in the sense of seeing where we're going with that, knowing that even TikTok right now has TikTok Shop. There's also TikTok, what is it called? TikTok uh I'm trying to think of the name. It's TikTok Shop and TikTok Ads, sorry. And then there's TikTok Pixel. These are things that you can now use with desktop. So I feel like people are already like culturally used to using TikTok from their phones. Not many people are used to using TikTok on the web, just like Instagram, and people are used to using Facebook on the web, but also on the phone too. But it's also like a cultural, behavioral setting that we have to kind of adapt to in a way. But I also think it's a great way for us to explore and do more, going forward. So thanks for that, Bianca. I see Faiz is here. I hope I said it correctly. We'd love to hear your thoughts on the conversation and any contribution you have. Even if it's a question, you're welcome. Thanks for being here. Faiz, if you're speaking, you're on mute. That could happen sometimes, but if you're not available, please let me know. You can unmute whenever you are available. But Bianca, thinking about TikTok, long term, where do you think, this is a prediction? I'll give you mine, but I want to hear from you first. Where do you think TikTok is going to be by Q4 2024?
By Q4 2024, I believe that TikTok is going to be what I would call YouTubeized, so to speak. I believe it's going to have completely more long term or long form content. I'm thinking that the short form content is going to be out on TikTok. I'm going to be honest. I believe that the short form is going to be more on YouTube Shorts, and of course Instagram Reels. And I think TikTok is headed in another direction. I have been hearing things without going too far into NDA style conversation here. I have been hearing that Netflix and Hulu and other major streaming giants are going to begin integrating with some of our favorite social media platforms. And so TikTok is getting ready to change drastically. So some of these changes are not because the tech giants want to be mean to us. They are literally creating partnerships behind the scenes as we speak. And so I am excited about that turn of events. It's going to be hard on some of us creators at first because, some of us love to be able to spit out 6 to 8 to 10 second to 30-second videos, right? Super easy. But the minute you have to do like 30-minute long videos, it's a little bit more planned out, it's a little bit more structured and things like that. And so it is going to cause us to be stretched a little bit. And so that's where I believe TikTok is going for the quarter of 2024. At the end of the year, I believe it's just going to be completely long form content.
That's a hard one to chew on because TikTok is originally short form. And if they go long form, it's going to be a little bit, it's going to be new, like YouTube. That means they're going to go into YouTube's market share. And I believe Instagram is trying to do the same thing too, by going long form because Instagram used to be horizontal in a way because they used to have IGTV, so you could go horizontal back in the day when IGTV used to be IGTV, but you can still do that now, but they're heavy on reels. So I'm just wondering, like, okay, we do live stream shopping. People do live stream shopping on TikTok. People go live on TikTok using their phones. So for them to go horizontal is going to be a little different because I just don't know. People have to get used to it. That's what I'm feeling. But I think also in Q4 2024, because the royalty rights and UMG have pulled out, that has opened up like a new opportunity for them to grow and do more than what they're just doing regularly, which is going to give them, insights, because people go to TikTok to learn new things. People go to TikTok to get the latest tips. People go to TikTok to know, okay, where's the best restaurant to, to get food. These days, yeah, Google is still king, but people still go to TikTok to find their latest, trends. People find hotels through TikTok. People find, whatever. Like people find good things on TikTok. So I'm thinking if it goes long form, that's gonna make the creators have to think longer, think harder, and think smarter. And that's going to be a big challenge for a lot of people, especially if they're used to doing like 30-second clips. So I think it's a good challenge, but I also think it's a way to keep us on our toes because users are one. Sorry, I had a phone call. Users are 1.8 times more likely to agree with TikTok that TikTok introduces them to new topics they didn't know they even liked. So it's going to be a big one for sure. Nick, I brought you up because I saw your comment and I wanted to hear from you because you're adding so much value, in the chat, and I also wanted to hear your thoughts. What are you thinking about this whole trend going on right now?
Yeah, I mean, I'll speak out real quick. I didn't want to interrupt your thing here. So I always like listening to you guys. Very good to know more things that I don't even know. But on this subject, just by being like, a TikTok, daily producer and consumer, I've definitely seen the future. The future from what I've been doing TikTok shop for since the beginning, since like August or so. I can't remember when they first started, but very early into it, and the changes they're making to that and the pushing they're doing to that is pretty extreme. From what I'm seeing for the forecast for this year is they're going to focus still more on the shop part of it, and their goal is to be Amazon. They want to be fulfillment. They're already doing fulfillment on products. So if you have a selling product, they're taking your product, putting it in their warehouses, and they're distributing the product just like Amazon. They want that time frame down to 2 day delivery kind of thing. So I think you're going to see way more pushing on the shopping side of it, which I know half the consumers hate, or probably more than half hate, but then the sellers really love. I think the horizontal is going to be a push, yes, but not overpowering on anything else other than shopping for 2024. I think that's a long conversion to get, vertical producers to go thinking about horizontal. I mean, that you're talking about people that have never made a horizontal video ever if they've only used TikTok or Instagram to produce stuff. So converting them over to that is very difficult. Of course, there's a lot of people that are YouTube people that are on TikTok, so it's going to be an easy conversion for them, but they already have that established. So I think that's a long game, and it's also a big thing on the consumer side. Do consumers want to turn the camera to horizontal? I'm lazy. I don't want to turn the camera. If it's an option to switch it over, I'm still watching it vertical because I just don't care enough to switch it over. I'm not on there watching 30-minute stuff though. So, but again, that could change. But I don't think in 1 year it's going to change. I think that's a 3 year kind of plan, not a 1 year. That's just me. But I mean, I see TikTok growing for the next 5 years alongside with YouTube, and I see YouTube being the real winner eventually, just because the shorts over there are doing so well. But it's also overtaking their long form videos as well as like amount of watch time.
Whew, that's a big one because if TikTok is going to be in that market and thinking about delivery and fulfillment, every time we think about great delivery and fulfillment, we think Amazon. So that means they're also kind of low key going to tap into Amazon's market share, which is going to be interesting, right?
They, which interesting, they hired, so they originally, when they did the shop thing, I was part of the first shop where it was integrated with a Shopify store. So they actually they had a contract with Shopify to help integrate everything. And that basically fell apart when they switched over to the shop. So all they were using is they're using Shopify and to basically they're paying them to learn, or whatever deal they had. TikTok was learning how Shopify works. So what happened at the end of the contract, they stole a bunch of Shopify employees. Now the back end of Shopify is a back end of TikTok shop is exactly Shopify. So I'm a Shopify user. That's what my website is. The back end bones are exactly the same. Even when it comes down to updating your pricing, it's all the same. So they just basically took everything that Shopify gave them and made it. So not only did they hire Shopify, executives, they hired Amazon executives that were working over on the fulfillment side. So they know exactly the goal of they want to be they want to be bigger than Amazon. And I really think Black Friday sales really showed them that it is quite possible to actually achieve the kind of sales that they're looking. So that was just, and again, it's upsetting to a lot of people. They're sick of those shop videos, and I think they do a cool down because right now the videos aren't being pushed like they were in the middle of the summer, which they had said that they publicly said they were pushing intentionally. Those things aren't happening anymore. So you got to make sure you have a really good viral video to get the viral kind of sales. You can't just, there's a lot of smaller places that were going viral, millions of views, and they had no followers. So it's interesting if they start pushing that again. Everyone's going to get flooded with shop videos. But I know it sounds crazy for a video app to be so focused on it, but there's a huge amount of money to have a platform that you can sell, use videos to sell your products. Because if you look at Amazon, they're trying to make that happen the reverse way. So they have the products. Now they're trying to get into UGC content over there and paying people to do it. So if you have a video platform already, you might as well start selling on it. They're beating out Etsy. Like all the Etsy people are coming over to Amazon to sell, or on TikTok to use the shop function because it's already got the virality built in. So these are just things that they have the tools, and they're going to fully use them.
Whew, that's huge. That's huge. I love that you said that because when you think about Amazon, they use AWS, Amazon Web Services. So if the back end of TikTok is kind of like Shopify, and Amazon is in the mix, and then Etsy is a competitor, YouTube is in the way, Instagram is somewhere in the sideline. It's going to be really competitive because people don't even know where to go anymore because they're just thinking, okay, if I go to Amazon, I go to Amazon to shop. I don't really go to Amazon to watch videos. I go there to watch reviews, but I don't really go there to see what creator is there. And sometimes the creators that are there, you don't really know them, and that culture has not really been built in yet, but it's still available for people to check out, and I see a couple of them too. But I think the way it's going, like Bianca said, it might get a little more competitive than we ever think, because when you think about involving music, influencers, and shopping, it's going to be a big one. There's a company that I met at CES 2024 when I was in Vegas last month, and I'm still talking with them right now. They're a Web3 platform. They're called Sniper. I talked about it on Clubhouse, I think the week after I came back from Vegas. And Sniper is like if Instagram and Amazon had a baby, it would be Sniper. And that's Web 3.0, whereby if I'm wearing shoes and I post that shoe on my feed, then if you shop on my feed, then you can get a commission because you shopped through my account because I kind of showed you the shoe through my post. So now you have to set up like an account where you have a wallet, and that wallet allows you to now get commissions from posts that you send to people that like and post what you like, and then from there they now purchase it right at the door. So it's getting a little more complicated because we're in this Fediverse right now. So I think it's going to be very, very competitive in the long run. Bianca, what you thinking?
Yeah, I believe it's going to be competitive as well. As a matter of fact, I just put something in the chat about the Meta and Amazon partnership that is emerging very quickly. And so, very similar to TikTok and Shopify and other platforms who are coming together to create some form of, I would say, in social e commerce experience. There is getting ready to be something very similar to that coming from Facebook. And so, I'm curious to see how it's going to affect TikTok, because we've been, a lot of people have been able to sell all types of beauty products and clothing and all types of trending items. And so I'm curious to see how it is going to play out. I'm watching like crazy. And so I think that going forward, what we're going to see more is just a more social selling. And so I believe I was very surprised as an e-commerce expert just to see how, people were able to sell like two-piece clothing items on TikTok, and like the viral snail mucin, which is like a skincare, literally genius bottle in a bottle. And so just products like that being able to have UGC be created in a quick video, easy video, and literally people from all over the world buying a product that's literally like $16, going viral, and incredible sales. And so, just interested in how things are going to evolve. And yeah, so
I didn't know about that partnership between Meta and Amazon. That's a, Sheesh, I don't even know what's going on at this point because it's like the way it's moving, people are going to be more shop friendly and shop savvy. because before they buy a product, most times when you hear about a product, the first place people go to is Amazon because they're like, oh, I can get that on Amazon for 20% less. Now it's going to be, am I going to go on Amazon? Am I going to go on TikTok? Which one am I going to get faster? Am I looking for a 2 day delivery? I'm looking for an overnight delivery. It's going to get really fast. And the thing that has really spoiled us in a way is because Amazon is so big on convenience. I think that's one of their major drives is convenience. So if convenience is paramount to positioning for sales, then building an asset whereby you can actually grow as a company, as a business, as a brand can take a completely new shift over time. Because it's like if you're a creator and you have a Shopify store and you go get UGC content and you put it on your website and you have a budget and say, okay, I'm going to hire this influencer or maybe 3 influencers to talk about my brand and bring life to my brand, then more people will be able to sign up and subscribe. But also, they're going to compete against other people because it's like, okay, people want to shop. Sometimes people want to shop with a firm. People want to shop with Clear Afterpay. People want to shop with Sizzle. So sometimes people want to shop conveniently because they feel like, okay, if I just need this, outfit today, I'm gonna buy it today and pay tomorrow, because that culture has already been like programmed in a way. So I'm excited to see where this goes because if Meta and Amazon are partnering, Meta already has Facebook Shop. They already have Instagram Shop. I don't know how well they're doing. I don't think they're doing as well as Amazon or TikTok, but I think that merge is also going to give Meta the upper hand. And if that comes into play and you're using Meta, then WhatsApp is somewhere by the corner because Amazon, you can't really talk on Amazon. So imagine if you're using WhatsApp with Amazon. I'm just thinking out loud, but these are things that could possibly happen when you think about merging. What you think, Bianca or Nick? I don't know what y'all are thinking. Let's go popcorn style.
I mean, I think that what Bianca was talking about with the Facebook and Meta, I think the goal of theirs is having sellable products on everybody's content, regardless of it's intentional or not. I think with Meta has the data to identify everything in your photos or your, I'm assuming videos probably now, that if there's a hat in there, that's a hat. Can they figure out what hat it is? And if you take Amazon's analogies, they'll be able to figure out what hat it is and then figure out if they have a listing for it. And then all of a sudden there's a spot where you can click on anywhere in the video or the picture and you can buy directly from that, and that might link up to right to Amazon or whatever they figure out. But I think that's initially the goal, and I think you're going to start seeing the growth of that at some point this year. And I don't know if everyone gets paid or if you have to officially be a creator to be it, like, because I think they're going to put it on everything, not just select videos kind of thing. And that'd be interesting and also crazy terrifying because we don't want to be sold all the time either. But I think that's just part of the future. And then when you talked about uh, Amazon, running this AMZ or AWS and stuff like that, you got to remember Shopify is run on AWS too, and payment systems are all by Stripe, which is all on AWS, and TikTok, I think they're like 80% of their servers are all run on AWS. So really, if there's a real war going on, about who's in control of the e-commerce business, they can certainly push TikTok out of AWS and make them fully go over to Google. So I mean it's a deep war to really get into who runs everything here.
Yeah, I agree. And now that even Google acknowledges TikTok as a featured snippet on Google, SEO wise, it's a game changer because now YouTube is the only spot before TikTok came into the picture where, like, if you want to look for a video how to tie a tie or how to make your favorite lasagna or how to, bake chicken or for something like that, you would always find a YouTube video in the search results on Google. But now TikTok is like emerging there with like quick videos, and YouTube Shorts is also kind of on the way on the sideline. So I think it's a great place for us to be, but it's also a scary place for us to be in because if we have all these varieties, all these options, and then creators start getting specific with platforms that they want to be in actively, then I think it's going to be a great game changer for us because we only are able to purchase something after someone has tested it. We don't really purchase it if it's not been tested. If you see a product that has 0 reviews, no clicks, you're not going to click on it, even if that's the best product since sliced bread. But If you see 2.3K views and 4.9 stars, you're like, oh, okay, these people must really like it. So our brain kind of creates this dopamine effect in a way because we want to see stars, we want to see shiny objects, we want to see things that people have already tried. We don't want to be the first one to try it. It's always a weird thing to go by. So I think it's a great way for us to really look at, the bigger picture, in the interim. Be what you're thinking.
No, absolutely. As a matter of fact, I was reading an article yesterday and they were talking about how consumers really want to have that authentic experience, knowing that they can trust other people who have been either trying the product, using the product for a certain amount of time, excuse me. And one of the things that I noticed, because I personally am super into like beauty. And so I'm always looking up videos of like how to use certain cosmetics and how to use certain skincare, right? And if I can look at, as a consumer, can look at a platform and be able to quickly grab information on a product based on someone else's experience, it's way better than just going online and seeing like a random like review. And so, consumers are finding more trust in brands because of the fact that, all types of general everyday people are utilizing certain products and being able to show you in live time, like, hey, this is working. And so, and I believe there's such a benefit in that. And it's not like, because there's companies who are starting to really get away from, using what I call generic advertising. The boring ads that we used to see years ago, on TV and in newspapers and things like that, that's over. And so now we have brands who are effectively using influencers to be able to create all types of UGC and being able to see the products being used on a real scale. So why, it's like, why would I want to go back and just read and some random post that something worked? I really want to see someone actually using the product and actually seeing it work. Because like, for instance, the snail mucin that I was referencing a little bit ago, like I know snail mucin works because I've seen the girls over and over on the platform do the, hey y'all, get ready with me. And you'll see them be able to utilize the product. And so, and like every time their skin looks like glass. And so I'm like, okay, that works. So I can see why the product went viral and why the sales are showing up. And so, I believe that UGC is really effective. And so, yeah.
Also, I think that accountability on TikTok is huge too. So, like, not only do you have the reviews to look at, you can just look at the comments. Or if you watch a lot of beauty products, you're going to find out which beauty product is hurting someone's skin or the product's expired or whatever like that. And you're going to find out without even researching. And I think that's the best benefit out of TikTok is the algorithm just gives you the information right to you. Like you can't go to Instagram and YouTube and get like a follow-up video to like an ongoing issue with a company. People are going to call you out and you're going to know about it. Like I think that the accountability is so incredible on TikTok that if you screw up, everybody will let you know and you will know. So I think it's boggling that I still have customers that go, "Oh, I'm not sure about TikTok Shop buying stuff." I'm like, "Why?" Like I have 3,000 positive reviews. Nothing in the comments is showing anything bad. Like just because one bad seed, one bad company can really ruin the experience for the whole thing. And I think that's why TikTok Shop, like they're changing daily to make it more strict and just weeding out the bad people, the drop shippers and stuff like that. So it's so much more with TikTok's algorithm that benefits the consumer and the business.
Yeah, I believe so too. I've bought something from TikTok Shop, and my experience was it felt like Amazon, low key, because I purchased what did I purchase? I purchased I'm thinking. Yeah, I purchased the. I don't know if you saw it. It was going crazy some time back. It's an electric scrubber for the bathroom. So like if you have, because I had bathroom tiles, so I was using the electric scrubber instead of like scrubbing with your hands. You use the electric scrubber, just like you have like an electric toothbrush. So I bought it and I got it in like two days, I think max, and it was such a perfect deal. And I've been using it just because I kept seeing it on TikTok like for a whole week. And I was like, you know what? It doesn't hurt. Let me try it out because I'm actively on TikTok and I'm seeing things there. So I feel like if someone sees a product, when they say it takes 7 to 12 impressions to make one conversion, that is kind of like what TikTok goes by, because if you're there constantly, and of course TikTok watches your watch time, then whatever you're watching watches you, if that makes sense. So it's a good way for you to kind of see like where you want your brand to be. You can go on there, check different things, and now with the music gone, not really, but almost gone, it's like now you have to think out the box and know, okay, how can I entertain people, and how can I find them, attractive to my product in a way that's going to give them a leverage. So it's going to be quite a challenge. Amazon, Meta, YouTube, TikTok. I don't know what's going to happen. And then there's Web 3.0 in the back, because people don't really think about Web 3.0. Like I just talked about Sniper that I met at CES. Those kind of things happening is going to change shopping forever. So I just feel like digital shopping is going to be on the rise now, and we just have to watch out and be careful so that we also don't buy stuff and things start going wrong or left. But I like where we're going with the trends.
I just enjoy that we don't have to leave the platforms that we're already spending so much time on to be able to shop. Of course, like Nick said, like I don't always want to have to shop every time I get on Facebook or TikTok, but I do love the fact that we won't have to leave certain platforms to hop over to Amazon. It'll just already be there.
Yeah, I believe so too. I don't know how the Amazon creator experience is, just because people are so used to just add to cart, purchase, and go. So it's going to be a little different now that we're looking at it from a different scope, a different lens. So I believe that the way it's going is going to help us make more informed decisions other than just reviews, because people are so used to seeing reviews and reading them. And some people just don't like to read either. They'd rather watch a 30-second video about a review than read a blurb about it. So I think it's also coming to change the culture and how people interact with products and how the brand experience is long term. Because if that one video is making sense and I'm making sales from it, then why not keep it? So I think it's going to be a really great way for us to look into it. One thing that I want to talk about too is owning your own intellectual property. Because if we're thinking about Amazon, TikTok, YouTube, Meta, and don't forget Pinterest too, these are platforms that you have to sign in. Clubhouse, you have to sign up, with an email address. So if people are going to be shopping and I'm getting, let's say, I'm getting, let's say, 10 orders a day on TikTok, for example, then in a week, I have 70 orders that have processed, right, and fulfilled. Now, am I able to get those 70 emails from those receipts from TikTok and export them as a CSV file? How will that work? Because I'm thinking like this is big for consumers, but we also have to think about the producers and how they're going to, merge into those kind of lifestyles. So what are y'all thinking on this? And good morning, Dr. Fashion.
Yeah, you do not.
Good morning, Favor. The ticket at the bottom is me. I was trying to exit out. I actually saw, so this lets you know that this works. I got your notification first on Instagram, right? So you know how you're able to create your group and blast out anything to anybody that opt in for it. I saw it there first. I clicked the link, but it had me on Safari. I was like, and I exit out, but I'm still down there. So I'm here. But thank you for having me.
Anytime, anytime. Thank you. Appreciate that. Yeah, it's big because that broadcast channel, I just put the link in there and people show up, and even I have a guest here. You can't tell who the guest is, but I see a guest as Favor's guest. So I guess rhyme on and words, I guess it's probably also coming from the the broadcast channel. So thank you for being here. I really appreciate it. Dr. Fashion, you're big on TikTok, you're big on Pinterest, on YouTube, Amazon, everything. What are you thinking about this whole shopping experience, brand experience, life experience? Yeah, what's happening? What are you seeing?
There's a lot happening. For 2024, with all the meetings and conversations I've been having with all these companies, for those that don't know, I consult a lot of these companies. YouTube is one of my top clients. And yesterday we had a meeting and they made an announcement yesterday. They told me before they released the video, but now they're pushing vertical live streams in the shorts feed, which is a big deal because short form content on YouTube and other platforms does really great in numbers. So that lets you know that if you are doing shopping related content, you have a product or service, then this is your time to shine. especially when a platform is pushing out something new. So my whole strategy for 2024 is like changing quickly because of those changes. Because I do have a product and service and I'm a content creator. So I'm going to be integrating a lot of affiliate products and my own products and services in these vertical formatted videos just to get seen a lot more. So that's going to be a big deal for this year. And of course, just showing up more. 10 years ago, I would say upload a few videos a month, but now you got to kind of show up every day. So, yeah,
Oh yeah, that show up every day is huge because if you don't show up, someone else gonna show out. So
that
we have
part,
to.
that part favor.
Facts, facts, facts. Bianca, what you thinking?
I'm thinking for my 2024, I definitely will be, of course, showing up these next several weeks. I do have a couple of beauty products and hair products that are going to be released here soon, so I'm excited about that. And so I'm going to lean more into not just consulting, of course, 'cause I'm going to continue consulting, but I am definitely going to continue my content creation journey. So I'm like wanting to show my beautiful face, but excited about the fact that e-commerce is being pushed on all of these social platforms. Social selling is, of course, really, really fun now. It's not like it used to be, where it used to be very HSN style. And now it's really fun because it's authentic and it's new and it's fresh. And so looking forward to seeing more of that original content.
Yeah, I'm all big for original content. Think about podcasting too. That people find podcasts from TikTok, people find podcasts from YouTube. YouTube has a branch for podcasts. Amazon really doesn't have that in mind, but they sell books on podcasts. So I'm thinking too out the box, like, hey, if we use influencer marketing originally, authentically, and I can say seamlessly, then the brand experience gives us that omni-channel base we're looking for. Because if I see you on TikTok today, I see you on Facebook tomorrow, I see you on Instagram the next day, at some point I'm like, I kind of know you because I see you everywhere. And I'm not seeing you on ads, I'm seeing you organically. That also shows that the algorithm also supports your content. Because sometimes we want to push money and throw money at ads when organic is actually winning. Like I wouldn't spend money on ads if I haven't conquered organic marketing. That's just me. I may run ads to test the waters, but I'm not going to run ads to get conversions because I know that if I want to get conversions, I need to get the lowest cost, per click. But I can only do that if I'm serving the algorithm the right way, which goes into SEO pieces. Because if I have an article and I make a commercial article about the top 10, I'm thinking the top 10, what can I give? Yeah, let's say the top 10 pans to use for spring. Random example, right? Oh, there are different types of pans. I like to use a steel pan. I like to use this other pan. I like to use this and that. You're gonna get to people that love homes and appliances and stuff like that, right? Now, if each of those links have an affiliate link, like Dr. Fashion said, and that leads you to an Amazon link or to a TikTok link, or even have a TikTok video embedded into your YouTube or embedded into your blog per se, then that's a good way for you to also show your brand. Because if someone's typing the best pans to buy or the best shoes to buy, and then they find your article and then they see 10 options, now they're in your world because you've been able to show up for them. Now they're like, oh, I didn't know you're on TikTok. Oh, I didn't know you have a podcast. You're giving people that access point. You're not advertising, you're not really selling anything, but you're kind of selling yourself indirectly. So I also feel like if we think about all these platforms, let's not forget about our website. Let's not forget about our domain because TikTok.com is owned, Facebook.com is owned, Amazon.com is owned. So if you have a Shopify store, like Nick was saying, own your domain there. Get your base right. That's why all these platforms, websites, they don't just have blogs there for blog's sake. They know the power of blogging because a blog that you put out has a shelf life of 24 months. So if I have commercial blogs, transactional blogs, informational blogs. I'm running ads after writing the blogs, testing to see which one works, and I'm testing my products using Google. Then I'm actually ahead of everyone else because someone can find me on TikTok just because I'm pushing a lot of traffic on Google. So when you think about the signal strength of your business, you have to think about like how you're showing up omni-channel wise. And that's really what's going to change the business long term. And that's where I think things are going to be going. What y'all think about this? Everybody got their thinking cap on. It's exciting. It's a big one, y'all. It's a big one. I feel like it's going to change a lot for us in the marketing trend for our businesses locally and globally. And I don't want us to miss out on this, right? If you have social media as your channel, because you can also tell, like, oh, this is my social media account. This is where I drive conversions. This is where I drive leads. This is where I drive sales. Then I also want to know what's that doing for me long term. I'm having a big red bar, so I hope you guys can hear me. So it's like you have to really understand where you're going with your information. Thank you, Empress. You have to think about where you're going tomorrow. What is your goal for tomorrow? Because if you're not adding leads, if you're not looking at your lead board or looking at your dashboard or looking at your scoreboard, whatever board you want to call it, and you're not getting feedback, then that board is just a canvas. It's just empty. And you got to fill it up with some paint. You got to splash something on there. But the way you splash something is how you react to what you're getting. So it's an expression. You have to think about it. Some people say, oh, I don't have the budget to run ads. I don't have the budget to build a website. I don't have the budget to do this and that. If someone comes to you, Bianca, Dr. Fashion, or Nick, anyone can answer this question, and tells you, I don't have a budget for this, I don't have a budget for that, and they really have a product that you can see that can sell, kind of like a Shark Tank moment, what would you tell them and how would you address it? Okay, I think I might pick somebody first because it's like I don't know who's going to talk first. Bianca, what would you say?
I would say shoot for organic content. If you don't have the budget for ads and things like that, then be consistent with posting. Be very authentic and put out content that would be the driving force for other people to want to buy. Because, like, for instance, there was a product that was viral, very much so, like snail mucin, called Glow Recipe. And it got started because there was a little girl who, I'm not going to say little, she's little compared to me, I guess. I'm 34. She's in high school and she was in her room and she was doing Get Ready With Me videos every morning. And as a result of her doing her Get Ready With Me, she wasn't even really talking about the product like that, but she was talking about different stories on a day to day basis. And then at the same time, putting on her skincare before she was either going to school or going to bed, either one. And so every day, the result of her just placing those videos online, it was like not soon thereafter, it was like a million girls like following her and suddenly are purchasing this product. And now Glow Recipe has this huge deal with her. And so it's, so I would say organic, pure content. And so that's what I would say if the person doesn't have ad dollars.
I love that. Okay, that's a good one. Thank you. Welcome, Andrea. That's a really, really good one. Dr. Fashion, what you thinking? She might be making some content, so let me know when you're back because that could happen sometimes. But she's always on the move, so I appreciate you so much, Dr. Fashion. Let me know. Just feel free to interrupt us when you're back. Andrea, welcome. What are you thinking about the conversation, and what would you do in that scenario?
Oh man. And so can you repaint the picture for me just because I just got in here and I apologize for not being
No, you're
early.
fine. You're fine. So let's say, think about a Shark Tank moment. Somebody has a great product. They have no budget, but
Mm-hmm.
but they want to make impact.
Oh, 100%. I would do um social media at like the velocity is so important, right? So I would do a lot of content just to build that momentum because I talk a lot about this concept of like velocity, right? And getting momentum before you have even your first win. Um, and I believe that because if we think about it from like a like scientific point of view, you need to hit with force, right? In order to push that needle forward. And everything in marketing online, it's about visibility, you know? So if you have no ad dollars, it's how do you get your first 100 reels up in that specific niche? So you think about velocity, or how do you get your first 100 newsletters out and published? And then from the marketing perspective, if you have no ad dollars, I would like definitely spend at least maybe $500 to $1,000 on like a cold email marketing system, and that can really help get catapult your insights in terms of like your conversion rates, how you talk about your offer, and what resistance stands in the way, so that you can refine that. And when you're ready to spend money on ad dollars or a website or something like that, at least now you already know what to focus on. And so those insights are incredibly valuable. The other thing I would say is the collaboration aspect, because a lot of people have different strengths in different areas. So you can utilize that, and give back. So it's a fair exchange, but you're not starting from ground zero. So a lot of times when we're opening up like a new platform or something like that, we have to consider like where can we get that leverage and what can we exchange for that leverage. And sometimes it's just a really nice JV, like a revenue share, right, for a partner that can help motivate someone to help you build your network. And other times it's like really like collaborative methods, cross posting on social media or something like that. But look at methods where you don't have to start from ground zero, but you get the most distribution. That's my thought.
Oh, that's a good one. Thank you so much for that. Appreciate that feedback. And Empress and Bianca, like twins now. So it's so great to see that, there's always a resemblance in things that you like and things that are happening. So that's really good. I like that. I like that feedback. Celeste, good morning. Welcome, welcome, welcome. What are you thinking about this and what would you do?
Good morning. So, first of all, so many amazing people in this room. That's what I love about Clubhouse. It doesn't matter about the quantity, it's about the quality. And okay, y'all, listen, this is why I always got in trouble in school. I asked too many questions. I have questions. So, did you say, you said, all right, this person has a great business idea and they want to get it off of the ground, but they don't have a budget. Is that what I heard?
Yeah.
And when we say no budget, do we mean $0 and
We
zero
mean
cents?
we mean like
Or
nothing
they
in the
got like
bank.
$1,000?
Nah, like zero. They only got their time and their mind.
Okay, okay, okay. So I have been here personally. When I first started my business, I had negative dollars, like severely in debt, at a job where I'm not making any money. I was in food stamps, y'all. So, I was pretty bad. Single mom, just really struggling. And I'm not going to tell y'all the whole plan of what I did, but the main thing is if you do not have money, you have to have time. Like you have to invest time to actually develop your business, figure out the strategies, and do all the damn work yourself. Yes, can't outsource anything. What I would highly, highly recommend is, especially, now there's like a lot of weird like grants and things like that, especially for people who are like low income. Sorry, I was looking for the word low income. I would actually go to your local SBA. Every state pretty much has an SBA, or if you go on like the SBA website, a lot of times they will literally tell you the organizations that are in your area and see if they have something called an IDA grant. I stands for individual, D development, A account. And what it is a match savings grant where, they have a certain amount of money. You basically apply, and here's the thing, you don't even need a business. You could actually have a business idea. Now, depending on how popular it is in your area, you might have to like, get on a wait list or something. At the time when I applied, I got right in, but again, this was a long time ago, so I don't know what the current process looks like. But they actually give you a ton of resources and they don't just give you the money. You have to like take classes, which at the time I was like, oh my God, when I go to classes, like I need the money. But I learned so much from those classes because you kind of, well, me personally, I went into it thinking like, oh, I can do this and that and that. and my whole startup strategy was wrong. So they really helped me develop the foundations to be successful in business. And I really appreciated that they forced me to take those classes because I probably would have effed up the money. But after I completed the classes and also had to take a couple of seminars, which is how I learned about SEO. Like I started in those seminars. I received $5,000, and that literally saved my life. Like I was able to buy so many important things. Like at the time, I didn't even have a computer. I was going to the library to use the computer. So, that was great. And then from there, I would literally tap into all of the free things that I can. Another thing that I really love, and this is still current, I checked into it. If you go to your local library and ask them. So obviously you need a card number and stuff. They usually have access to an online program that I love called LinkedIn Learning. It used to be called something else, but they have like thousands of classes on there. And I'm not talking about like, no shade to YouTube, but these are like sometimes 3-hour classes. And even sometimes they'll give you a certificate after you take the class and then take like a quiz. It's pretty dope and it's totally free to access through your local county library. So I would call them, go up there, ask them about it. The moral of the story is, I have so many free things, y'all. I'm actually planning on hosting a little thing in my marketing accelerator, which is free if anyone's interested. Sorry, shameless plug favor. Um, on like some free tools that you can use to kind of accelerate your marketing if you don't have a budget. So, moral of the story, y'all, there are resources out there. Sometimes they're a little hard to find, but if you go to the right place and ask the right questions, I guarantee you can, figure some things out. So I'll end the plane there, but this is such a good topic.
Thank you, Celeste. That's a huge one. And yeah, LinkedIn Learning used to be called lynda.com. And that was like from 95, back then. So it's like, I remember when lynda.com, how I got to even know about lynda.com was when I was doing my master's, my first master's. And we had to use Lynda to do some learning on some modules for class. That's how I was like, oh, okay, there's lynda.com over here. So that's how I got to learn about it before it became LinkedIn Learning. So it's so great that you mentioned that. That kind of gave me nostalgic vibes. So that's a good one. I appreciate you for bringing that up.
Oh, and I forgot one really quick thing, which I think we don't talk about enough. So, especially when you have a great idea, because I heard you say like Shark Tank moment, usually those people have like brilliant big ideas. And even if it's not like a big idea, even if it's a small one, please, I beg you to talk to a small business attorney about protecting your intellectual property. It's really, really big now. I've actually seen people I've actually seen people on Clubhouse, y'all, get their whole idea stolen right on the stage. Like there used to be people that would go around and buy your domain name before you did and basically hold it hostage because they're blabbing their mouth too much before they have things set up. So just please, at least do those foundational things before you start going on social media and making all the TikToks and all that stuff. So yeah, talk to an attorney. I usually can do it for little to no cost. So some of them even do free consults.
big, big. Thank you for that. Intellectual property is big right now because you're like, oh, no, that's my logo, but you don't own the domain. And then they'll now go back and when you purchase the domain, when did you don't want to go through all that stuff. So before you say a word on any platform, yeah, get your intellectual property house in order and make sure that you have everything written down so that you don't have to fight it in court every day. Yeah, some people go through that and learn a hard way, so we're trying to help you so that you don't go through the hard process. Thank you for that, Celeste. Dr. Fashion is back. What are you thinking? What would you do in this scenario?
Of having $0.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I've been there too. So for me, when I didn't have money for my business, I checked online. I think a lot of people just sleep on the amount of information that is out there for free. Like back in the day when I first started social media, before there was a MySpace, we didn't have all these resources. There was no YouTube, there was no TikTok, and there was no IG or Facebook groups, right? So it was really hard. But now we have everything in the palm of our hands. We have Clubhouse, we have people that are willing to help and share information. And so back then, during my struggle times, I was just like at the library, or I would try to find what I could by taking flyers. But one thing that I came across was like there are free like iPhones and tablets. And one thing that people complain about is they don't have the tools to create content because their phone is crappy. But there's a website you guys can check out. It's called Air Talk Wireless. And if you qualify, you can get a free tablet or iPhone. I've been able to help hundreds of people on this app get free tablets and iPhones, and they're using that to create content, right? So that's free. The other thing too is like using website like score.org. So they have a bunch of like courses in person and online that can help you with your business. So if you don't know anything about getting a trademark patent or copyright, you can take free courses on that. You can get certificate for certain things. There's just a ton of resources, and you can get a mentor. You don't have to pay for it. So there's like a whole bunch of things, but that's like a couple things that I would start with. Because obviously we're talking about content creations and trends for 2024, but you still got to get the business together. So it's like start there and then start focusing on the other stuff.
Thank you. These are all great ways to start. I think for me, just to add on to what y'all have said too, is I have mine from the personal experience of going through the podcast route. That's how it worked for me, because I was like, if I want to sell a product and no one knows me, how are they going to be convinced about what I say in a short time, over time? And what hit me was, first of all, I do music, but I was like, you know what, let me go through the podcast route and see how that can turn into conversations I can have where people can listen in and apply concepts. So I started off that way. And I think that was just out of no budget. Like, I didn't have any thing around me. It was just like, okay, I'm just going to use my voice and I'm going to talk. And people used to say, hey, you have a radio voice, you can use voice for this and that. And I was like, yeah, okay, thank you, and then move on. And then, like, back in 2011, I used to tell myself that one day I'm going to have an internet radio station. That's what I used to tell myself. I'm like, I don't know how. It wasn't even called podcast, it was internet radio, because I was featured on radio for music back in the day. And I was like, this is so cool. Get a microphone, talk, everyone listens to you when you're vibing. Why not do that, in the comfort of your home? So when I think about the word podcast, which is derived from iPod plus broadcast equals podcast, I just said, you know what, it's time to use my voice appropriately. And that's how I ended up doing podcasting. And now we're, over 300 episodes in 5 years, counting this year. And it's like that just took a whole new leap for me. So I feel like if somebody doesn't have a budget, they should go to a platform like Podmatch or Matchmaker and connect with people and speak their truth, and go on podcasts that they want to be on, and then create a playlist that you can now start putting on your website, when you start to make some money, and start building from there. Because I feel like when someone is convinced about what they want to purchase from you, they have to hear you talk. They have to read what you say. They have to kind of understand what you're saying, because clear messaging equals clear dollars. Clear messaging equals clear currency. Let me just put it that way, because not everyone is in the US. So it's like you have to think about your messaging and how you position yourself, because positioning equals to sales. If you're positioned on the left, if your button's on the left as opposed to the right, there's a percentage in difference that can make your website or your ranking or your performance or your click through rate, dip or go up. So I feel like that's really a way for me that I would tell someone if they didn't have a budget they would do. So these are all great tips, y'all. Nick, I wanted to ask you too, what you're thinking, because I wanted to know if you had something to also add to. Passing it to you.
Sorry, I've been working at the same time, so I'm trying to listen at the same time. What's the subject now?
Yeah, it's the same question on the Shark Tank moment. If you don't have a budget, but you have a great product
Okay.
and you have impact, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I was always thinking ads were going to be the answer, and thankfully with TikTok, organic reach was so much higher than I could ever pay for. So like, especially if you get like ones in the millions, you really can't just order a million views. Just, and if you did, it'd be extraordinarily expensive. So having spending time and doing things yourself, using your time as much as you can as the real suffer point, to make content constantly, to redevelop yourself. And yeah, if it fails, you start fixing it and retweak it until you get a winner is way more affordable, especially if you no money at all. You just need your phone. If you got a phone, there's tons of apps that you can edit for free. You can edit for free right on here, right on TikTok. But I would suggest just making more content. And only thing I'm doing with ads now is I'm waiting until these videos go viral and then doubling down with those as ads. And the ads are pretty inexpensive on TikTok. But if you just run it just as like a lot of people run ads as like if you look at your stuff and it kicks back an ad to remember to order it kind of thing. And that helps a lot. So, but organic, definitely way to go for video.
I agree. Organic wins every time, every time, every time. Like we want organic food, right? We want to eat organic food. So why are we not creating organic content? I think it's simple logic, but it's also kind of complicated. The same way people say English is so hard, yet it's one of the most universal languages in the world. I think it's just based on your mindset. Because if you have the right mindset and you're able to set it the right way, then the right people will come. If you create a table, the right people will sit. If you don't have a seat, no one's going to sit. So you have to think about how you're seating so that when people sit, they can sit comfortably. And it just depends on how you position yourself, within that seating alignment. So this is really good. Leslie, thank you for listening in the garden. Appreciate you. I'm talking about organic in the garden too. Morel, thank you for listening as well. Appreciate the information about TikTok and other social news, where social media is heading. Yes, social media is heading to a place where it's no longer post and repost. It's more like post, sorry, not post. I can say post and repost, but not post and ghost. It's like you can post something, come back 2 hours after, see what's happening, and you're actually like getting a lot of leads. If you want to see how organic really works, I think it's also based on your photos, because we think about art. Art says a lot about what we think. If all of us in this room look at one picture painting at a museum, all of us are going to have a completely different thought process because of how we are wired, right? Because we're all unique in our own way, and all our experiences contribute to that thought that's in the mind. So if you're able to like speak your mind, speak your truth, then out of this almost 8 billion plus people in the world, there's going to be someone there out for you. Yesterday I saw, because I follow the wealth account on Instagram, I always get some really cool stuff from there. And I saw someone that, I don't know how it happens, but there's a woman in China. She's an influencer, and she literally shows products in 3 seconds, and she's making buku money just by showing products in 3 seconds. Like, hey, here's this product, slide, here's this product, slide. It's like a factory machine of showing you products. Like, she'll bring it out the box, she'll show it to you. I don't know if y'all have seen that video. If you go to the wealth account on Instagram, you'll see it. She just posts a video, you see the picture, it runs. Yeah, Dr. Fashion probably has seen it. You see 3 seconds, you're like, I haven't even seen the full shirt, but now I want to go in there and check it out. So it's like speed is something that a lot of people have to think about, because the faster you're able to send a message, the faster they're able to receive it, and the more time they have to spend to think about it. Dr. Fashion, what you thinking?
Yeah, I was laughing because I'm like, I've seen it, and that's a trend in that country. So like it's like Home Shopping Network, but they're not really talking. They're just really showing you the product and they move on really quickly. But you got a quick little glance and a quick little second to see it. So you know what she was showing, but it still makes you like want to click the link to see more. And that's what people are doing, and they're buying. They're not just watching for entertainment purposes, because it is kind of entertaining, but they're actually making purchases. So that's what I was saying earlier, like regardless of how fast you're moving, internet shopping is the thing. And if you have a video to go with the product or service, people are really buying. And that's why YouTube and all these platforms are pushing that right now. So once again, if you are a business owner and you have something that you want to sell to people, content creation with that integrated into it, it's going to change your life for sure.
I agree. I 100% agree on that. Bianca, have you seen it? She's like, yeah.
Are y'all? Is it? Sorry, are y'all talking about TikTok?
Yeah, it's not really TikTok, but it's you know what? I'm gonna find that link and put in the chat. I saw it on Instagram, but I think she has a TikTok. Let me go grab it.
While he's grabbing that, it's a little secret. I've been in business for a while, and even us seasoned business people, we still have to figure a lot of stuff out. I literally just sold. When I was it during COVID? I think it was during COVID. Child, I didn't sign up for TikTok. I didn't use it at all. I'm like, what are all these buttons? I was just like, ooh, I'm old. And last night I finally was like, you know what? I'm gonna get back on TikTok. So yeah, I'm still struggling to figure it out. So we all, just want to kind of give encouragement that everybody has to figure it out, y'all. It's just, we're all in this together. So if anybody has any TikTok tips, inbox me on Instagram. Thanks.
Thank you, Celeste. I got it, y'all. Her name is Zhang Jiang. I hope I said it correctly. And she's a Chinese live streamer. And I'm reading from the caption. She shook the e-commerce world by racking in $18.7 million in just a week with her game-changing minimalist strategy, showcasing each product for merely 3 seconds. So check the link in the chat and see that video. I was shocked because I'm like, who would want to pay or do that? But it's like she's already built that culture because it's such a disruptive way of showing products. Everyone's using 15 seconds, 30 seconds. She's only using three, and she's like really stacking money up. So I feel like if we just think out the box and say, okay, if she could do it in 3 seconds, I could do it in 1 second, right? Then you can start to figure out how you can do it for yourself. But it's also kind of complicated if you don't really know what you're doing. Yeah, Bianca, 3 seconds. Has anyone else seen it? Passing it to you.
Yeah, she just picks up the product for 3 seconds and holds it and throws it to the side. Picks it up, holds it, throws it to the side. Like it's nuts, you know. I think that's a really good aspiration, but realistically, you just pick up the product and throw it to the side. It's so funny, but it really does talk or speak to the mind of like the buyers on the internet, right? Especially on TikTok, how you can actually catapult with one video, right? This is why we always say create content, keep creating content, not for the like reason of just content alone, but because you never know what strategy is actually going to work, because that 3 second thing is ridiculous. But I love it. I love her for it.
Yeah,
And
I'm
can
all
I ask really
here.
quick? Because yeah, I will check out the link, but I can't right now. What is she selling?
She's selling clothes. She's like literally showing you, here's a shirt, here's some pants, here's some boxers, here's a dress, and then she'll show you even the hangers. Like if you watch this video, you'll be like, what is going on? Like hangers. Like who shows hangers on video? So it's like she went all the way left, but she did everything right. So it's a crazy disruptive way of marketing, and I think that's also an appeal for people to do because it's not even being done in the US. I don't even think people in the US have adapted to that kind of culture yet because this is something being done in China. So imagine someone doing that in the US, they'll be like, I can't see everything. So they're going to be kind of like subjective to the idea, but guess what? It's being done. So I just think it's possible. Anything is possible at this point.
So is it kind of like a show me more strategy, or are people just seeing this little 3 second snippet and add to cart? Okay, I'm asking too many questions. I just need to go watch it. Just you can move on. Let's move on.
No, 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 you're fine. Yeah, check it out and let me know. Like if you grab the link in the chat, check it and tell me what you think. It's such a game changer. For me, I don't know. I really just don't know how that's gonna work, honestly, because it's like, huh. So if I put a video and this video is seen, now I have to watch that video probably 10 times to see the exact product that I want to buy or that I want to see. So it's like I have to think out the box. Literally, she's showing you a box. And out of those boxes, she doesn't really show you the brand boxes. It's just brown boxes. So you have to wait for her to pull it out to see exactly what it is, and then you now purchase from there. So I feel like this is a marketing trend that is a big one because if I was in the e-commerce space and I'm doing something like that, and every time I show up, I'm showing you those products, I would tell you quickly to go to my website, and then on my website, I'll tell you to sign up because now it's like, hey, join the wait list to get the latest product in store. Look at Nike, for example, when they're about to release a new shoe, you're going to join a waiting list because you want to be the first to know when the shoe drops, right? At that point, you've already gotten probably 20,000 leads just because someone's interested. That doesn't mean 20,000 people are going to purchase it. You might get a 1%, 2%, 5% conversion, maybe 30% if you're lucky, right? If you're blessed, we are all blessed. If you just have the right strategy, then you have to really know how to position yourself as a marketer. So there's really no, let me put it this, there are no rules. I think there are no rules in marketing. It's just how you want your business to work based on the model that you have and the strategy you have in mind. That's just how I see it. Welcome, Cami.
Hi, Cami. Good morning. Well, it's still morning.
Hey everyone, happy Friday's Eve. I haven't seen you in a minute, Favor and Celeste and Andrea and everybody on the stage. How y'all doing?
We good, we good. Good to see you here. We got to get that pink ticket off you
I know, why is it doing that?
because you just joined as a guest in the house. So click on the marketing club and join so that you can be a member.
Okay.
Yeah, and then when you come back in later on, then you no longer have that ticket on you.
Okay, well, happy Friday's Eve. I'm looking forward to tapping in with the conversation, y'all. You know I don't be on Clubhouse too much, but when I tap in, I tap in.
Appreciate you and love the profile too. Really good. Love the colors. I don't know if it's because of Valentine's Day or this is a new, soiree, but I love it.
Thank
So
you.
keep shining. You're welcome. You're welcome. I saw a comment in the chat. Meow. I hope I said it correctly. Or Foisa. You asked, does this mean the conversion rate is high from this reel? Well, I wouldn't say from this reel because it's just a repurposed content feed, but the actual conversions in currency is intense because I think, what did I see on there? I think it said, I'm going back to the reel right now. It's about where $18.7 million in a week. I think that is as high as a conversion can go. I mean, it can go higher than that, but it just shows how potentially possible you can make anything happen if you just believe in your product. So I don't think it's just the reel itself. I think it's the product and the style. And of course, she's an influencer. That's why she's making that much. But for her to get there, she had to do things that people thought she was crazy. I hope, I just think that that's what people thought in the beginning, but the more you do something crazy, the more people think you're doing it and you're normal. It's a weird thing, but you have to kind of outsmart the norm so that you can be part of the trend. So when you create a marketing trend, you have to see what works for you. That 3 seconds might not work for you. You might need 30 seconds to explain your product, but at some point things can start to change. There's a podcast I'm building right now for a client. His episodes are only 60 seconds long. Only 60 seconds long, and he's doing well. He just ended up on Apple now, on Spotify. We were able to add him to listen notes because that's a podcast search engine. So you can start to actually get, accredited for your content. Because if you're not on RSS feeds, podcast wise, with, high domain authority sites, then you can't be able to create those linking strategies. So we just connected his Google Search Console, and now we've created his workflow, and he's going to be doing so well because he has an ebook on, 7 ways to love, some great things. And I'm also learning as well myself. I didn't know that there are 7 ways to love. We all know about love languages, but I didn't know about the 7 ways to love. I don't want to go deep into that, but there's different ways you can learn new things every day. So I feel like if you come up with your own unique content and you do something out the box, then a lot of people will definitely want to connect with you. So this is really where it gets to. And yeah, does it mean she gets paid on leads or conversion? Um, if you're new to DM, that's direct messaging. So I believe how she's probably making her money. I don't know. I'm guessing, but she's getting paid on the back end to show you what it is on the front end. Or she might be paid to do the post, or she might just choose a couple of people that she wants to work with, and then she has that collective fee. But those are some things that you can always create for your business. Oh, digital marketing, not DM. Okay, when you hear DM, it's like direct messaging. So yeah, not digital marketing. Thank you. Thank you for the correction. But yeah, this is exciting though. I just appreciate that we are having this conversation today, and a lot of people are learning something new because it's not just about, hey, I have content, hey, I have a business. It's like, hey, I have this marketing tool and I want to use it correctly. We all have tools, but not every tool is used in the toolbox. So we kind of have to look at it from, a third eye view and see it from a 30,000 viewpoint to get to understand what is going on. I want to ask y'all, because we're thinking about Meta, Amazon, YouTube, TikTok, Pinterest, somewhere in the middle. What are you thinking about voice search? Because a lot of people don't talk about it much. Alexa, Siri, Google, because people use these platforms, Apple CarPlay, people use these platforms to talk. What are y'all thinking about this? Have you guys gone into that trend? Are you seeing anything on your end? Let's talk about that real quick. Anybody can jump in.
So we're talking about voice search,
Yeah.
right? Voice- There's, I think that there's one thing definitely that if you do have a product that's searchable on Alexa, especially if you're in like the traditional market, you should definitely be able to index yourself on these like search engines, right? A really cool thing that I did see, which is funny, right, that you're mentioning this because it actually fits in any vertical. Um, if you look on Spotify, I found this like, I don't know, maybe this was last year, but you know, Burger King has a weird Spotify channel. Did you know that? It's
You said
and it's
Burger King?
yeah, it's a Burger King, Burger King, and it's like their jingles, I think, or something like that. Let's see. And if we just, I'm just trying to pull it up here because it was like a year ago that I was looking at it because I'm really interested in this. How can traditional brands, you know, or even restaurants or fast food chains, stuff like that, how can you develop like audio channels for greater distribution? And I thought Burger King was pretty genius by putting their jingles up there on Spotify.
That
Yeah.
is a classic one. Yeah, Andrea, I think the what you just said is so big because Spotify is a great place to even advertise as well, especially if you're kind of going into sound as a business. Because when people hear da 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 da, you know what I'm talking about. I don't have to say the brand,
Hmm.
because right, because it's like you have this, it's like a signature sound. So if you have a brand and you don't have a signature sound, then that could be a problem in the long run if somebody wants to connect with you, because if they hear something, they're like, oh, I recognize that sound. Just like if you're sleeping in the middle of the night and your mom calls your name, you can wake up because you know the voice. So it's like it's something that's registered in the mind that is done over time, and that becomes that cognitive recognition that you keep repeating over time. So sound is great. The only reason why I brought voice search is because Alexa equals Amazon, and Siri equals Apple, and Google equals Google. So we have to think about where we're placing these things, because when people ask questions, oh, where's the best place to buy this? And they'll say, according to this and that, you can find it from here and there. How those people get to those spots is purely based on organic search and domain authority, because algorithms are only going to trust signals that are coming from a domain source that has authority in page links and direct links too. So if you think about your business long term and have a sound, and that sound is sounding, sounding like a signal that people can understand and relate to, then eventually you can actually learn a lot through the process of how it goes for you. Because now, going back to TikTok, we talked about it earlier in the beginning of the room with Bianca on how UMG has, taken down their own music from TikTok, which is changing for everybody. And TikTok grew because of music. Artists were found on TikTok. There's some artists today that if it wasn't for TikTok, they wouldn't have blown. If there's some artists that wouldn't have made it if it wasn't for YouTube. Back in the day. So when we think about the trends and what's happening now, as a business, your business could also hit a really, really good point if you're giving out the right content pieces. But some people just don't know how to post. Now, if you have imposter syndrome, because some people have imposter syndrome, is there a solution for that? I'm asking the room, and we can put in the chat too. Anyone on stage can answer this. Is there a solution for that for someone who is seeing all these trends happening? It's like watching a plane go by your head, and then you're like, oh, the plane's gone, but you want to be part of that experience. How can you be part of that experience if you're going through something like that?
Really quick, and I'm going outside. Ooh, hopefully my Wi-Fi is good. Um, so I think the biggest thing, especially when we talk about online trends, yeah, you can lock it. Is that I don't want to sound harsh, but some of these things are really one in a million. But you see the trend and you're like, oh, I can do that, right? And when you do it and it doesn't work, you look at yourself as like, kind of like, oh, I'm not, doing good. I know imposter syndrome is usually associated with people feeling like they're not good enough. But I just think that it's important to set expectations in the beginning that, a lot of these things take time to develop. It's not an overnight do it once and you get a million sales. Like I know that's a great story, but it's not the average person's story. And I do think that, you can be up with new, really dope trending ways, but it takes time. Like it really does. Like I'm sure if you ask people that have had this quote unquote, it looks like overnight success, it's not because again, social media, most people don't share the fail stories. They share the high points. So I think just kind of understanding when you go into it, it's usually a time investment. You got to try some things, see what works, and throw out what doesn't. So I'll, land the plane there.
I agree. I agree. Dr. Fashion, what would you say to this? Because I know like people that post on YouTube, they're like, hey, I don't want to post on YouTube. Who's gonna watch me for 30 minutes saying something that about my business that they don't even see? Like, how can you overcome that fear?
See, I'm always
I was about
multitasking,
to
favor.
say.
Oh my gosh. And I do that every time. Like I don't know how to just do one thing at a time. So the question is people that are um like scared to show up on YouTube because of not many people watching them. Is that your question?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at the end of the day, we all start from zero. Let's be honest, right? Unless you have a famous family or parents or something, but we all start from zero. And at the end of the day, you just got to show up, and then you got to continue to show up, and more people will come. And that applies to every platform. Like on every platform, people don't know me. Like on TikTok, there's still a bunch of people that come across my account that did not know I exist. There's still people on YouTube that did not know I exist, right? So when I went all in last year on my channel and I gained the 100,000 plus new subscribers, it was because I kept showing up. Because I'm like, there's billions of people around the world and there's millions that don't know me. So you just got to remember that we all start from zero. But I would say also, if you're scared, don't feel like you got to do this on your own. What I advise my clients to do, especially if it's live streaming, is to bring other people on the screen with them. So like right now we're on Clubhouse. There's several of us in this room on stage. This is a collaborative effort, right? You could do the same thing with content creation. So like with live streaming, you could do the split screen where you're able to invite people on there and they can chime in on the conversation with you. And that's also a great way to cross promote. So if you're scared that you're not going to have many people watching you, get somebody that has a following and bring them on to your platform. And that way you got a crowd. So there's people that's willing to do it. Just make sure you're connecting, networking, using platforms like Clubhouse, Facebook groups. There's all types of forums out there where you can connect with people and see if they're open for collaboration. So that's my tip.
Appreciate that tip. That's a good one. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much for that. I think what you said hit the nail on the head on zero. We all start from ground zero. Every plane starts from ground zero. Before you hit those skies, those clouds, those views, you got to start from zero. So if you're afraid to fly, then you might as well be on the ground, and you don't want to stay on the ground for too long when you're watching people fly above you. So I think it's just that should be motivation in itself to be like, nah, I can't let you pass me. I got something I got to say too. So you can use that as a way to fuel your energy and start from scratch and get yourself a positive mindset, like Morel said, because you don't know what someone's going to say until they say what they say based on what you said. So think about the feedback. I always say this: feedback is the best currency for businesses. That's why all this telecommunication companies say, hey, would you like to fill a survey to let us know how our provider service provider works for you? You say yes, you answer a questionnaire. That information is valuable to them because they want to know how to improve on their marketing, improve on their messaging, improve on their business experience and their brand experience for you. So that's a big one. Thank you so much for that, Dr. Fashion. Bianca, what would you say about this too? What are you thinking?
I would say imposter syndrome is something that I think we all have struggled with one time or another. And how I personally have dealt with it is I do research on some of the top influencers in the world. And so one of my favorites, is Allie Earl, who is Alex Earl, who is on TikTok, and she's crazy successful. And how she started was she was in her dorm at the University of Miami, and so her dorm was an absolute hot mess, clothes everywhere, makeup all over the counters. I mean, she was a mess, and she would just be authentically her, and just knowing that we all have a unique voice and we all have unique things to offer and unique stories. I mean, her parents were divorced and she had acne really bad. And so before any of these beauty companies ever approached her, she had acne really bad and she had all types of issues. She, had panic attacks and in and out of the hospital and all that. And knowing that some of these influencers in real life, you have day-to-day that
Ooh,
wasn't
you're in the matrix.
okay. Can you hear me? Let's see. I don't
Okay,
know. I'm getting
okay,
a
we're
red bar.
back now.
Okay, I apologize. So, I was saying that, she was completely like authentic and that she had all types of challenges and things in front of her and living life just like the rest of us. And so, in her, it was very much reflected in all of her content and knowing that her story was just real. It wasn't fluffy. There was no sugarcoating. There was no any of that. And so, knowing that if people like her who have been crazy successful. So now the girl's on Forbes. She's all over the place, in terms of magazines and deals. And I mean, she's doing great. And so, in knowing that she could be her without having to hurry up, because like sometimes we always look for like perfection or levels of of okay, it has to be perfect, and if I don't do this, then that's not. And just knowing that we just need to show up. And so that's kind of how I do it. And then of course, before I put out, content or whatever, I do personally do like all types of like personal development. So I'm either reading something, I'm up listening to motivational speakers, I'm listening to uplifting music to get my head in a space, because as content creators, you have to be confident. You have to know that, you believe in yourself and the product you're selling. So if you don't believe it, don't expect anybody else to believe it. And so that's kind of what I do to combat imposter syndrome. But yeah.
I love that. Thank you for that, Bianca. Yes, I 100% agree with you too. It's like you have to take that bold step to make that next step. Because if you're not bold, you can't speak. You can't say anything because your boldness is going to speak through you. So if you're not bold within, then no one can really tell if you are because of how you present yourself. The way we say that you want to be you want to dress the way you want to be addressed is the same way you want to show up the way you show out. So that's really how people can connect with you on a long-term basis as well. So that's a big one. Alicia, thank you for being here. We'd love to know your thoughts on the conversation. Thank you for joining us.
Yeah, absolutely. So I just see the main topic of marketing trends. Is there anything particular? Because I just got in that I need to drill down on. Did you move to a particular question,
Oh
Favor?
yeah, we started this. Bianca and I started this room in the beginning, talking about TikTok, because I don't know if you know this, but TikTok have been going through a lot of things. I would say legal cases with UMG because UMG had to pull down their music from their source, like people like Bad Bunny, SZA, Harry Styles, and other artists. You don't longer see them on TikTok per se. So we wanted to know like what is that meaning for the future? How is shopping gonna work because there's TikTok Shop now? How is that gonna go into Meta? Because Bianca talked about Meta and Amazon. I think it's Meta and Amazon partnering together, and that's also a big way for us to start shopping creators. How is that going to affect business experiences? Do you want to have a TikTok shop? Nick talked about Etsy. People are leaving Etsy, kind of leaving Etsy because people want to experience the brand better through TikTok. So that's where we were on when it comes to how the trends are. So this room was, we started off with the trends and then we start talking about other things in between the marketing phase. So yeah, that's what we were on.
Okay, awesome. Thank you. Thank you so much. All right, yes. So sorry that I'm late to the room, but I was teaching a live masterclass on how to podcast. And so this fits right in there. Here's my deal. Like I tell people in my podcast class, make sure any music that you're using, it's commercially available, period, 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 period. So TikTok and Universal Music Group having the issue that they're having, it hurts the artist more than it does TikTok. Because quite frankly, Favor, I'm an independent artist as well. They need to reach out more to us to use our music because we're not going to say no to it being played. And so while my music is available on TikTok and it's, based on the distribution company that you use, and we're happy because we're in control of it, you change one part of the dynamic, you change all. So I want to give that vista into it, right? Um, what do we know about business, Favor? Is that that company should come in and fill a gap, right? So that's just a gap, and things can be filled. The aspects of the licensing and whatever issues that they have, I believe that's perhaps outside of the purview of what I want to talk about. But what I'm observing with TikTok, my friend, she does whatever she wants. And I watched this woman had 600 followers in 30 days out the blue in January. She's on her way now to 1,000. I haven't looked at her page in a few days. For all I know, she's probably close enough to that. And then I looked at my page, which had like, I don't know, 30 something people Favor, and I'm posting on business and I'm getting 200, 300, and 700 people coming through. But for whatever reason, who was coming wasn't converting because somehow something brought them to my page, but they weren't necessarily coming there for the news. So there are all these things that I think you have to figure out, but these things change on a dime. Now, the woman that I'm talking about, what I saw, and so you have the replays on, so this is actually great. When I tried to find a formula on her page, like I said, she's my friend. What I noticed that she did, she talks about her page is about God and motivational stuff. But Favor, that woman is driving and she pulls out her phone and records the fact that she's at a traffic light and start talking about motivation and God in the traffic light. This is stuff you can't make up. Like, I'm laughing each time because I'm literally saying, how is this possible? But it's happening. She went to the racetrack. She just videotaped them moving the horse around. She got all this conversion. So one of the nights I leveraged my ability here on Clubhouse and I had a room and I said, listen, this woman is at 700 and something, let's get her to 1,000. I had some big wigs come in there, TED Talk guy, influencer guy, and they came in and they just started to drop information. And one of the things that, and then I'll close, that they talk about was that, one, you just cannot determine virality. And these guys have, I don't know, 85,000, 100,000. You cannot determine validity. But I do believe that if you're constantly posting and then reevaluating the analytics, which you hear in almost every room, they say 100% you'll start to figure out how to get those people to convert. I came in on Bianca's last part of being authentic, and that seems to be true regardless of your niche, regardless of the customers you're trying to attract, regardless of what your message is. So if you stay authentically you, eventually they will come. So yes, my friend, her page, what is it, Rosalind Cohen one, she is wild on it as far as I'm concerned. Because, oh, you know what else I saw her use, Favor? She uses any little thing that TikTok gave her. Does that make sense? She's not extremely savvy with technology, but if she used their effects, she used some of the apps, and so that hopefully that helps somebody in the room. But yeah, that's what I shared. So I think if you use platform features, that might also help. But I'm observing this woman scale very quickly, and I think TikTok is just pushing her page. So I hope that helps.
You mentioned something so important. Thank you, Alicia, for that, because I'm thinking about music too from a musical standpoint, coming from distribution. And like for me, my music is registered with BMI. So I know that all my music is, published through DistroKid and United Masters. So if I get my music on TikTok, on Instagram Reels, if you type my name, my pseudonym Flav Beats, you'll see my music on there on Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook. And because UMG has labels, because they have artists that have those music pieces, it's not like a one and done cookie cutter thing, because there are artists out there who can be discovered, like you said. So if people position themselves and artists use their own music, or now artists start working with influencers and say, hey, I have a song reach out. Like if you like this song and it fits your brand, let's talk about it. Let's make it happen. This is, it's like it's opening up new opportunities for people to connect, music and brands to connect, and that also gives you an audience, you know, in the long run. So it's a big move, and I feel like this is something a lot of people should think about if they're thinking about music in its entirety as a brand. Because when people build a brand, they don't think about music, they don't think about sound, they just think about conversions and ads and all that good stuff. But if you're able to put them all together and think out the box, that can be a really great way to bring you, you know, into that. So yeah, even Cami said royalty free music is something to think about. So so true. You know, use it to your best advantage and then tweak it and let somebody enjoy it as well. So thank you so much for that add on. Wani, I know you said you had a question. Feel free to ask because this is a free space. So welcome, welcome, welcome. We'd love to hear from you.
Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Super inspiring to be talking with like coaches or podcast speakers. So I appreciate this opportunity very much. My name's Wani. I'm from Brooklyn, New York. So, and my question is, I'm just thinking about getting into arbitrage rentals through Airbnb. I know that's a hot topic and everybody got their kind of thoughts and comments about it. But other than getting attractive badges like superhosts or customer favorites in Airbnb, can you experts kind of think of other ways to promote my listing in the future once I get one? So, is there a better way other than like maybe creating a TikTok, like you guys are talking about, maybe like an Instagram page that kind of talks about the amenities about the space? So, just wanted to kind of pick your brains on that.
You can't go wrong with YouTube.
Yep, YouTube.
That's where
Yeah.
all the realtors are. You cannot go wrong with YouTube. I literally found a realtor because he spoke about the area that he's selling in. So he went outside and he has a phone number to his real estate company. Period. So real estate, what sells the real estate? Location, location, location. I'm not an expert on marketing. I'm just someone who lives. Location, location, location.
Yeah, that's super valuable. And YouTube, yeah, definitely showcase a lot of different kind of highlights about the unit or the property, if you
No,
will.
no, no, no. The surrounding. Somebody's coming to your Airbnb. They're coming in town for the concert.
Mhm.
Their house needs to be repaired. The surrounding. The images of your space, yes, you can show that, but you
Mhm.
need the surrounding. You need to ask yourself, why would I go there? What's there? What's close? The supermarket close, like what's close, and you highlight what will best sell that place. If you believe your unit is awesome, let's make your unit Donald Trump's unit that got gold in it. You still need a reason why they should come because the gold unit may not interest them, but the fact that they can walk half a mile to Target and Walmart, that might.
Mhm. Yeah, that's a really good point, and I understand that you're using like Target as Walmart as an example, but maybe we're talking about like museums nearby that might attract them. Am I getting on that right? Just as an example.
Yes,
Okay.
whatever is close enough, and so that
Okay.
you get the traveler, or you can get someone that's repairing their home that actually lives in that city, but their house is flooded and they want to keep their kids in a, not in a cookie cutter, you know, Marriott or something. And they want that home vibe. So that's something, and it's just my suggestion. But I'll go on mute and hear what the others have to say. But that's what I personally think about anything to do with an Airbnb. Those are just my thoughts.
Absolutely. No, I appreciate that comment. It's something that I didn't even think about, right? So, kind of putting that in the picture definitely gives me something to process and kind of think about as well. Thank you, Alicia.
Are you a real estate agent? I only heard parts of the conversation.
No, I am not. I have a class that's starting quite soon, so I'm on a route to be, but I'm just more entertained about the arbitrage rentals. So I'm sure you guys are all very familiar with it, but it's mostly like you're renting out a space rather than
Yeah,
buying a property. So yeah.
yeah, I do Airbnb. So I have Airbnbs and I have content homes for content creators. But
Oh
exactly what
wow.
you said is on point. So one thing I do to keep my space booked most of the time, like 100% of the time, is we don't even need websites like Airbnb anymore. People do direct bookings, and it's more so we're selling the experience. Nobody really cared too much about the house like that, honestly. Of course, they want to have a good time in the home and it's clean and everything, but what can they do if they're in that space? What are things that they can do around the area? One thing that we also do is collaborate with a bunch of businesses around the area, so it's a great way to bring them customers or clients to their business as well. And we're able to advertise that on our social media. So it's like a win-win for everybody. So there's like all types of things that you can do. If you look at my social media, you can see um, like how I promote different businesses, and then I funnel people to my link so that they could book my location. So I think another person you should check out, because I know Alicia mentioned YouTube, somebody that I work with, his name is Levi, and he has a YouTube channel called Living in Dallas. And he's been able to get people to either rent or book out, either rent or buy a home because of his YouTube channel. He has made over $90 million in real estate transactions just by being visible on YouTube. And this is somebody that has less than 30,000 followers. So you probably want to check him out as well. And Andrea, I wanted to see if you wanted to add to that, because I
Oh,
saw.
Thank you very much.
sorry. Yeah, thank you, Doctor. So I feel like I almost don't need to add anything to that because both Alicia and Doctor, like you just right on target. Um, the only thing I would say is, especially if you're new and you wanted to build up your visibility, because these ladies both said key things, right? Alicia said, like, go to YouTube, get discovered, right? Put your content out there, focus on why people want to stay at your property, location, surroundings, things like that. And then doctor said visibility. Like, how are you getting seen? It's not even about like being on Airbnb, the listing, but how can we get the most leverage, right? Because leverage is always like the name of the game when you're starting. How can you get the most visibility without spending a lot of money? And the final thing that I guess I would add on top of that is if I were in your position and I was starting a completely new business and I wanted to book my properties out like months in advance, right? What I would do is start some sort of directory that's in you on your domain, and then focus on creating like one of these like hyper local websites that showcase your property constantly, because then you own that. Now realistically, that might take you in favor. We'll probably just jump in here because this is the SEO favor in Celeste. This is the SEO aspect, right? A directory gives you an opportunity, especially in the travel space, authentic travel space in your local area, to claim that website, book your property like months out in advance, but then also earn ad revenue for other local businesses. Then you can imagine all the different revenue streams you can add on top of it. Like, here's your property, here's the SEO, you can get leads for other properties in the surrounding areas. You could run a podcast, get funded by your local tourism industry to promote that podcast. Like, so many options, but it starts with like that one central hub that makes you the owner versus you relying on Airbnb. Because doctor said exactly right. We don't even need that anymore. We just need to claim the space. And when you're in hyper local markets, man, there's so many opportunities because there's less people doing what you know to be doing, right? So that's where you get that leverage.
Those really, really valuable information, from somebody who's like a super introvert, where, it gets me nervous to speak up here, but you guys really kind of putting in your thoughts and helping me out for my next future venture. Really, yeah, inspires me. So thank you everybody who contributed.
Yeah, thank you, Warnie, for bringing that question. I know it helps a lot of people too. Just to add on, because we got 5 minutes to the top of, to the end of the room. I was about to say top of the hour, but to the end, bottom of the hour, rather. But if you're doing this too and you're using all these platforms, I'm sure you already know this about having a website. because being in those directories is a great win for you. Because think about it. Think about how it used to be back in the day when you post a job on the newspapers and then people start signing up because they can see it there. Even though you could have posted it somewhere through fax or through some other type of, method, you have to go to that newspaper to find that lead or to find that information. But just because you're on three different newspapers or three publications, it gives you more bang for your buck. Even though you may spend more, but you're getting more eyeballs. Because I think the goal should be increase your number of impressions, long lasting impressions, and that will proportionally increase the number of conversions. Because if I have 100 impressions, the chance of me getting one click is low. But if I have a million impressions, the chance of me getting one click is really, really, it's possible. So the more directories you're able to get into, the more vision you're able to get for your business, the higher the way people can find you and the better people can find you is because you're in that space that they can actually see you. And then building on that space is going to allow people to find you even better because they're like, oh, you're here, you're here, you're here, you're here. Just like with marketing. If I see on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, X, rather, Threads, Pinterest, LinkedIn, at some point I'm going to be like, yeah, this person is everywhere. I have this on, like, he's following me everywhere. So if you're doing that specifically for that hyper target market, then be on Google, be on Bing, be on you.com, which is an AI search engine powered by Bing. Be on these platforms even where AI can suggest your content. Because if you have videos on YouTube, but those videos are not hosted on your domain, then you're not getting that Google Search Console traffic that can ultimately increase your number of impressions. So there's a way to go by. It's like a formula setup, but you can easily do that if you know that right strategy. And then working within the quarters is the best way to do it because, like you said, for your industry, there are different trends, there are different things that are happening. So not every season is going to be a positive or high peak season. Like, for example, now it's tax season. By the time we're getting closer to the end of the year, people are thinking about Black Friday and Christmas. So you also want to be part of the trend, but you don't want to be inside the trend too deep that you can't get out. So I hope that helps to Wani.
Oh, yeah, that definitely helps. Thank you very much. Can't thank you guys enough.
Yeah, you're welcome. Bianca, would you like to add something before we wrap up?
No, but as a matter of fact, when it comes to Airbnbs and arbitrage, I would say I actually just recently partnered with a company that has over 100 properties in the state of Arizona on Airbnb. And one of the things that I've seen that particular CEO do is he focuses on the features and all of the benefits that the people who are staying at his Airbnbs have. So, for instance, just recently I stayed at one of his properties and it was called the Gucci House. And everything in there was Gucci branded items everywhere. And right on the walls, there was like Gucci bedding. And I mean, you name it, it was gorgeous. Everything was like dark green and gold, right, with gold trim. And so, focusing on the features, right, he also had the ability to choose if you're staying at his properties. You have the ability to choose, hey, if you need laundry service, if you need massage therapy. He had people that were able to come by and do that. He had like private chefs that were contracted with him, and he showed off all those different features. And so, as long as you are, yes, I do agree with the being having a presence on YouTube, so creating YouTube videos that are centered around your properties, but also, the location, yes, which is always important. But then, of course, on my end, I would say that you should focus on highlighting all of the services and the types of products and things that you have on the inside of the Airbnb. Just being able to enjoy. People love seeing that they can enjoy different things on the inside of an Airbnb. And what sets you apart from going to a hotel. If I wanted a hotel, I could go to a hotel, but it's like being an Airbnb should be a totally different experience, and really highlighting what it is you have to offer is good. So
Yeah, thank you very much. Certainly something to. I was able to take some notes, so certainly something to think about. So thank you guys for everything. It's all positive lesson. So thank you guys.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thank you for being here, Wani, and appreciate the question. It definitely helped a lot of people today. Sometimes people have questions, but when you ask, it also helps the room. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And we'll hope to see you again here in the marketing club because I know some people got tickets. So we want to make sure that you guys also know that this is a free space. Marketing Club is growing. I'm the leader. I'm not the founder, but I'm the leader in this group. One of the leaders, actually. We have about over 346,000 members in here. So whenever a room is open in here, something great happens. The last time we had a room before yesterday was with Andrea, and she brought an amazing guest, and we went deep into that conversation. I remember when we talked about it, people didn't want to leave the room because we were focusing on making sure that you have to you simplify your content with SEO and AI. So topics like this are big, and we just want to make sure that you also understand where this is coming from and how you're taking positioning in your business and your market, because we can all do marketing for free, but at the same time we have to pay that a fee, whether it's with our time or with our money. We got to do something with it, either time or money. What do you value more? Both, but both of them, you can say like that, but you got to know exactly what you want to do going forward for your business. So thank you so much for that question. Before we wrap up, I want to just go around the room. Bianca, we wanted to let you know if you can say anything, let people know how they can find you, connect with you, and then we'll go all the way down to Wani, and then we can close out. So I'll pass it to you, Bianca.
Hello, everyone. Thank you, Favor. You can find me at favormarketing.agency is my website, and then click on my bio, and my links are there. And so I would love to connect with each and every one of you. Definitely send me a DM. I'd be happy to chat and of course, collaborate with others. And so this has been such a wonderful space. Thank you, Favor.
You can find me on my Instagram and my website, and everything is linked in my bio. Feel free to reach out. I have tons of free resources and Facebook groups that you guys can join that can help you get help and find you other peers and just creators that are willing to promote your product and service as well. So, yeah, thank you, Favor.
Oh, for me, you can find me on Instagram. But DMs are always open. My information is in the bio, open for business. And I'm open to collaborate and help people if you just have any questions or whatnot. You can also visit my site at captioncopy.com if you want to book a consult for 15 minutes or 30 minutes so we can talk about your business. And I really appreciate Favor because this was a really awesome room.
Yeah, I second everyone. Thank you again, Favor, too. And, it's nice to be back in the rooms and on these Clubhouse streets. But you can follow me on my Instagram as well and across all socials at underscore Cami, and that's Kami Simmons. And also, you can head on to my link, which is firstclasscrew.biz, and that's BIZ. /links, and I'm happy to connect. I have a couple of free resources, and I also have a community on and off of Clubhouse and some other um, things. My specialty is helping people with their video podcasting and like video marketing. So, yeah, always excited to be in these rooms. But thank you again, Faber.
Thank you. I am Elisa Marie Fit. I did put my Instagram link in the chat, and that's Instagram at Elisa Marie Fid, at Elisa Marie Fid. So thank you again for having this space, and next time I'll try to get here earlier because this is great. Now I gotta listen to the replays.
Cool. Yeah, my name is Wani Kim again. I'll drop my Instagram on the chat, but thank you guys. I definitely plan on joining in future kind of communications like this. I thought it was a great time, great learning for me to learn about a topic that I've been always wanting to get into. So thank you for the inspiration, and I hope you guys all have a fantastic day.
Thank you, everyone, and I appreciate y'all for joining the room today. Give a shout out, and I got to give you your flowers, Bianca, because she was like, "Let's do this room," and I'm like, "Yep, let's do it." I'm all in for collaboration, always in for collaboration, because collaboration beats competition. If one can chase 1,000, two can chase 10,000. You can only imagine how three, four, five can chase. So I just appreciate y'all for being here in the room today and being part of the conversation. If you want to connect with me, feel free to follow me here on Clubhouse or just connect with me on Instagram through my profile on Clubhouse, and then click on the link in bio to get all my details. Connect with me on LinkedIn too, because that's where I'm going to be hanging out a lot this year. And if you want to get on a call with me and connect with me, feel free to do so. I got my link on LinkedIn, so just type in my full name, Favor Obasi Ike, and you will find me on LinkedIn. Book an appointment, and you can, let's have a conversation and talk about your marketing plan. But if you just want to listen, learn, and grow, then click the link above and subscribe to the podcast called We Don't Play. We're available on 14 platforms, stations, so you can easily connect with us at any point in time and learn something new for your business to grow. So appreciate you. You're the best too, Bianca. Appreciate you. And have an amazing, amazing, amazing Thursday. We're going to be back again. And Andrea, are we still going to do that room next week? Because I know it's Super Bowl weekend. So are we going to hit it up next week and then we can schedule it?
Yeah, I think the 16th, right? The end of the week.
Yeah.
That was his promise. So yeah, we'll get in there. Yeah, absolutely.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate y'all. Thank you for being here. For those who stayed, Leslie, Dr. Shari, and also Empress, Casson, and Daniel. Thank you all so much. God bless y'all. Have an amazing day. Take care of yourself. Stay hydrated. Stay healthy. And yeah, drink your water because it's going to get really hot soon. I know it's cold right now, but you got to stay hydrated. So thank you, everyone. Have an amazing day. And I'm going to catch y'all in the Clubhouse streets.